Hey everybody, I'm Louis Amistoy back here on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, and we're now joined by the folks from Kern County Raceway Park, Stephen Blakesley, and his guest today is Lance Wilson, a Bakersfield resident, who we put in the gimmick chair over there that was falling down. We gotta get rid of that chair; it's ridiculous. But Lance, good to have you here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining us today to talk a little bit about racing. Let's jump out right now. We got KUZZ Radio Night coming up here. On April 26th, this is what are we going to see? We're going to see NASCAR CITGO stuff, right?
Yeah, the NASCAR CITGO late models.
That's why Lance is here.
That's why Lance is here. Yes, and also our spec modifieds, our mini stocks. So 3 NASCAR classes plus those legends that you like, Louis, and the kids in the Bandoleros.
I like the Bandoleros. I want to race Griff in a Bandolero.
Not happening. We'll get in one of those Pro 4 cars, though.
There you go. Those things look awesome.
There you go. There's the schedule for the next few weeks here. We're going to have again racing this weekend. May 10th, we're going to have NASCAR Pro Late Models, Street Stocks, Mini Stocks, the 911 Series, which we'll talk about here in a moment.
Yes.
And May 17th, Jack FM with CITGO Lubricants Late Model. Sounds almost like a drink. Sounds like something like a cocktail that Griffin would serve. NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Armed Forces 150. That's a big event coming up on May 24th.
Yes, it is. That's one of our biggest events of the year, and Memorial Day weekend. Gotta love it.
Right. Speaking of 911 Series, this guy was the winner. This is the Shafter PD. They won. They got the points lead right now.
Yeah, we had 7 teams participating, and the detective, 6-year veteran of Shafter PD, Josh Stevens, getting the win in a green-white checker. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see, just a great shootout at the end.
Okay, Kern County, here's some more photos. What are we looking at here?
These are our Pro Late models.
Mayhew, right?
Yeah, luckily for our CITGO guys, Mayhew's kind of moved on to the Pro Late model side of things, but he continues to be winning, gets the win on Saturday, and that's his teammate Johnny White outside of him.
Right. And let's go ahead and take a look at the, this is the Shafter PD. That looks pretty good.
Isn't that cool? We had 7 of them out there, and we got the folks from probation in right at the last minute, and that was our 7th team.
Now this will be the when we do the media race,
yes.
Right? Okay, now so actually, if you think about it, Griff and I have to be on the same team. I'm gonna have to be your crew chief, Griff.
Well, no, you have to be in a car. But the thing is that I think they found out they're going to need a few spare cars and a trailer full of spare parts for this series because these guys come in here and they drive hard.
They know how to drive.
And they want to win. Well, I'm not sure they know how to drive, but they
want
want to win.
Impressive.
Right.
But actually, they do a good job, and I knew it would be. That's going to be a fun little series.
All right, we got highlights, right?
Yes, we do.
Let's go ahead and show the highlights, Chris, and we'll show you all the video action. There it is.
So big night in our street stock class. We're kind of taking limited late models and street stocks and a whole variety of cars and running them together. And so you'll see cars that look a lot like our CITGO late models, but underneath they're the same as a street stock, with a full frame car. And just kind of cool. And that number 4, Howie Smith on the outside taking over the 2nd spot. That's an old Mesa Marin car. That car had stable in it until we opened. That is a Mesa Marin street stock. Duking it out with these guys, but your 2013 Sport Mod champ at Bakersfield Speedway, John Piker, getting the win in the 28. So that was kind of cool to see. Here are the junior mini dwarfs. And the 05 of Kay McClenny, that's kind of a hand-built, home-built car versus the Victory Circle cars such as Kylie Forrester in the number 1. And Kylie has to take it 3 wide in lap traffic, but that's how Kylie took the lead. And Kylie's our defending track champion in this class and is going to go up to your Bandoleros later on this year at 8 years old.
Wow.
And so, she is just incredible. Has only been defeated once in mini dwarf racing here at Kern County Raceway. And it was a fast female 1-2 with Kylie winning the race and Taft's Bailey Thompson in 2nd. This was a great race. Our NASCAR mini stocks. The car in the lead, that 41, that's Pro Late Model champion Tim Smith's dad, Randy, in Dylan Baker's old car with Mr. Hollywood Racing Vernon, the Iceman Dylan Baker in 3rd. They all have great nicknames in our mini stock class. And Randy was smooth sailing, but then lap traffic got in the mix. And Randy got a little impatient with the lap car right there, and they make very hard contact.
Wow.
And Racing Vernon goes high, and you see Randy has problems on the car, and Racing screams by to take the lead.
Wow.
And Mr. Hollywood's sitting pretty, but he comes out of turn 4 for the white flag, and the engine expires for Racing Vernon. And you'll see he slows down, and here comes the Iceman just to capitalize. And so Dylan Baker will only lead the final lap of our NASCAR mini stock main event to get the big victory.
Wow.
It was just crazy circumstances. In our senior mini dwarfs, this was a great field of cars, whole variety of cars. Andrew Orlando has the lead, but gets spun out from the lead on the restart. And so he'll work his way back through the field while these guys work their way for the victory. And that's our 2013 champion, Jerry Flippo, in the 13 car, trying to chase down Anthony Balcazar. And Balcazar is able to pull away and get the victory. And that's only the second time that Flippo has lost a mini dwarf race at Kern County. Orlando came all the way back to third.
Right.
Here is our 911 series. They had a very slow start. The starter held them all the way to the line, and then they were released like hounds. And a little bit of spin in there for Shafter PD. So there's your race winner. He spun and had to go to the back of the field as they duke it out at the front. Taft PD and Bakersfield PD side by side. Bakersfield PD had a very fast race car. And things are going to get interesting here in just a little bit as Bakersfield Fire. There's Shafter coming back through the field. Side by side racing for the lead between Shafter and Bakersfield PD. And well, it gets a little crazy for Bakersfield Fire. He's into the wall, and the driver was okay. That was Christopher Usey, and he gives a wave to the crowd. Green-white checker with Shafter on the inside, BPD on the outside. They bang doors, and Shafter PD hangs on to get the W.
Nice.
So that was just a phenomenal race, and then we'll end with our Pro Late models. And the thing with the Pro Late models, you have a lot of different types of cars out there with different power plants. So the first 3 laps, we had 3 different race leaders. So it was kind of frenzied at the beginning. As you can see, lots of sliding, guys high, guys low. But look out, because David Mayhew taking the lead here from his teammate Johnny White. And again, kind of like releasing the hounds. You just let him free, and that's just bad news for the rest of the field. A little bit of door banging for the second spot there with Tim Smith, our track champion, trying to get around the 6 of Martin. There was a restart, and Tim Smith got a great restart into second, but Mayhew was just way too strong in this race and pulls away to, admittedly, a very comfortable victory for him.
All right, so let's take a look at these results now. Here they are. Again, this was in the there's David Mayhew with the win in the 50-lap race in the NASCAR Pro Late model. Tim Smith was finishing second, Thomas Martin third, Johnny White fourth, and fifth, Anthony Manella. Let's go over to our mini stocks, and you mentioned Dylan Baker and Racing Vernon.
Mr. Hollywood.
Mr. Hollywood.
Hung on for second.
Just cruising along. Street stocks, John Piker, Howie Smith, Rich DeLong, the third, and Perrin Kustra.
The Milkman.
The Milkman. And I was thinking, I saw that name, I was like, It's got to be a dairyman.
Yeah, the Milkman.
Yeah. And the 911 series, you mentioned Josh Stevens, Sean Whittington, Craig, is it Treffs?
Yeah, Treffs from Bakersfield PD, Robert Gomes from Taft PD in fourth.
Right, and Ian Chandler finishing fifth. There you go. And senior mini dwarf, we mentioned Anthony Balcazar beating Jerry Flippo for the first time this season. Is that right? Okay. And junior mini dwarf, the girls dominating this race.
Yes.
So,
Fast females.
Kylie Forster, she's unbeaten in this field. Is that right?
Has only lost once, and that was our grand opening race.
Wow.
Has won every other race.
Okay. Points leaders here. The Shafter PD leading the 911 series, and we're gonna have like 8 more races, right? So this is gonna be an entertaining group.
Yes, it is.
And then Bandolero, here
Which
you go.
race this weekend? Tyler Bannister, the defending champion, ahead of Ryan Vargas.
And the legend.
The veteran Eric Olson taking it to the kids right now, and they race this weekend.
Mini stock.
Yep, Dylan Baker off of that win leads the points.
And street stock.
Same deal. John Piker getting the win,
Right.
leading the points.
And spec mod, we got 4 guys right
There's
now.
a police officer out in front, Chris Dalton.
Okay. And late model.
This is where it gets interesting, and this is going to be our race this weekend
Right.
with Brian Richardson, Lance Wilson, and Eric Richardson.
Okay. And then pro late model, David Mayhew is in the lead there, and that's all we have for now.
Yep.
Let's go and talk about this race a little bit with this guy.
Well, a couple weeks ago, we opened up our season with Monster Night for the CITGO Late Models. Lance Wilson second in both races. And Lance, you led about half the laps on the twins, but you weren't able to follow through and get a victory. Just tell us about how exciting those races were and what that was like from the driver's seat.
It was a great time, man. You know, fortunately, like you said, we were able to lead about half the laps but not come away with the victory. That's kind of disappointing on our end, but it's great running with those guys. They're really fast, and the cars are so close. It's going to be a competitive year.
and Lance Wilson now driving for Taylor Motorsports. It's kind of a merger of two different teams, but you have your dad as the crew chief this year.
Yeah, he's kind of our ace in the hole there. He's a smart guy, and it's really fun working with him.
What's his background like? You guys both were living in North Carolina for a while following the NASCAR stuff, right?
Yeah, we both moved to Las Vegas at one point. We were working for Orleans Racing and Brendan Gong there, and then we both moved back to North Carolina around the same time. He went to work for KHI, Kevin Harvick Incorporated, and I went to work for Richard Childress Racing. And
Wow.
So we were kind of competitors at that point. So it was always fun to try to beat each other. And that's where we picked up a lot of the knowledge there that we have. And he's been racing his whole life, and it's awesome to have him a part of it.
And then when you came back to Bakersfield, as this track was being completed, you kind of took it upon yourself to just bring back Wilson Motorsports and get yourself a race car.
Yeah, I had talked to him a little bit about getting back into a car when it was just started out, and then the racetrack kind of stalled there for a little bit, and I kind of let it idle with him. And then I just went ahead and pulled the trigger and bought a car from Las Vegas one weekend and kind of sprung it on him, and luckily he came on board, and we were able to have some decent success last year. I mean, we won a trophy dash and got a couple third-place finishes, so that was good.
And after racing at Mesa Marin and kind of honing your skills there, and you were talking about racing with Mike Duncan and all those great guys over there, you still haven't had your first win at our racetrack. What will that be like for you when you do get that first win here in Bakersfield?
It's going to be special, I think. I grew up racing around here. My dad and I have been doing this a long time together, and we've never got that win, and I think we got a really good shot at it this year, so it's going to be super special for us.
All right, well, that's going to be this weekend. You're going to want to take a look at that, and it's going to be Saturday night. Tell me a little bit more of the details real quick before we finish up the show here.
Yeah, it's our KUZZ night at the races with Lance Wilson and those CITGO late models for twin 35s, and that's kind of the cool element for Lance. When you're running twin 35s, I mean, for the fans, what's that like having two separate races on the same night?
Well, you got two shots at the win. You got the first one, which if you're a little bit off or miss something there, you have a chance to correct that in between the races and maybe take another swing.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll see your name in the winner's circle next week. We'll see some photos and look forward to hearing how you do. And hopefully we'll see you again and get more details about how your season's progressing here on the show. All right, Steve, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week and talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us here on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour. I'm Louis Samsway. Thanks to Mike Griffith for being here at the Dignity Health Studios at the Bakersfield, California.